Hey, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So fun to hang out with you guys again. And really psyched to be doing this topic today. How to trust that you are enough as you without having to push or strain or effort. Would love to get a quick little acknowledgement of if you guys can hear and if you guys can see me okay. Can you give me a thumbs up or say hey? Feel free to introduce yourselves. Really excited to hang with you guys again today. Let's see. Can I get a... Oh, I got one thumbs up here. Can I get something in the chat? Guys, can you hear me? Can you see me okay? Fantastic. I see series productions. Awesome. I'm going to dive in. Cool, you guys. Hope everybody's doing well. Cool. Thanks for the thumbs up, you all. Okay, good. Thank you so much. It's always like weird, I don't want to do this if you guys can't hear and see me. So how to trust that you're enough. Good to see you guys. How is everybody? Hopefully well, healthy, happy, safe. I am excited to have a conversation with you guys about some of the stuff that I'm talking about today. So hang out. There's going to be a Q&A. And here we go. How to trust that you're enough. And really how to turn your personality into a superpower. So you guys, thanks as always to Backstage for doing the series and for inviting me to speak with you every week. As many of you guys know, I've been collaborating with Backstage for many years, and all of the videos and articles are archived on Backstage and Backstage's YouTube channel. So thank you to Backstage for keeping this series going. My name is Joseph Pearlman. I help actors launch their careers faster and reach Oscar potential on set. And at my studio, as a lot of you guys know, we believe that you can launch your careers faster and with less effort when you're lit up with fun. When you're lit up with fun. So yes, we have private coaching and online Zoom classes from Hollywood to anywhere in the world for beginners to celebrity level actors. And you guys are all invited to watch the acting breakthroughs and transformations via Zoom in our classes from anywhere in the world. And you can schedule that audit on our website, www.josephpearlman.com, Pearlman.com. And yeah, you guys are invited to watch one of our weekly Zoom classes, including my masterclass, which is a small group of our celebrity and series lead level actors. And I'm coaching these phenomenally talented actors on currently casting major film and TV auditions, booked roles, to make the fun and brave choices to guarantee a win both in the audition room and on set. And please follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Joseph Pearlman to get free acting and career tips. Free acting and career tips. So good to see you guys. Some of you guys are just settling in right now. Some of you guys are going to be watching the stream. But I wanted to give you before we dive right into this, I wanted to give you a quick lay of the land. Again, I hope you guys are all doing well, that you're staying busy, that you're doing less and staying busy, not efforting. And it's been the last month has ramped up so much. The acting jobs and opportunities doubled a couple of weeks ago. They tripled about a week ago. And many of the actors at the studio we've been working with are getting up to 5 auditions a day, sometimes 2 to 3 taped auditions a day. And I want to know if you guys are also busy. One of the first things we do in our classes is what I call an accountability session. It's sort of like an opportunity to take a collective breath, almost like a base camp for the exploration we're about to do. And I want to know, how are you guys doing? So I'm asking you guys, how are you doing? Is it busy out there? Is it slow for you? Are you okay? How are you feeling? You don't have to talk about personal things if you don't want to, but I want to know how you guys are doing as a check-in. Great to see you, JC. Want to be engaging with you guys a bit more today. We're going to take some questions a little bit later. So good. Slowly starting now for me. Great. JC, things are slowly starting. And it's great to see you as well, too. Oh, thank you, Lisa. That's really sweet. I'm feeling good. You had a major audition last week, JC, sending out applications pretty much every day on Backstage. Keith, wonderful. Martin Davis, so great to see you. Feeling great, staying busy. At least 2 to 3 self-tapes a week. That's fantastic, Martin. Mackenzie Moore, hey there. So good. I hope you guys are really just feeling great, because again, how you feel is what you get. That is, really important. Let's see. Getting busier. BU, Isaac Newton. Haven't made much time to put in the work. Spend some time making a checklist of all the shows and projects to be a part of. Learning from the best and how to say no. Great. That is fantastic. Thank you very much, BU, Isaac Newton. All right. Terrific. So your personality is 90% of the performance. Your personality is 90% of your success potential. We've talked about some of this before. You cannot create a soul or a humanity for a character that is more interesting, layered, and deep than your own, period. Okay? Your personality is 90% of the performance. It's the base, or I like to think of it as a garden from which all of your character work is grown and distilled. Think of it like some terrain, your personality, and we're planting things in it, and we're opening up space. We're opening up space in you for the character to come up through you. That's what's happening. And this is the first question that I and we will ask you when jumping into the work and joining the studio is, after all of your acting work and craft has been planted in you, because that craft is really important. What if your best acting felt as easy as if you were playing yourself? I'm going to ask that question again. And I'm going to take some questions later. So if you're writing questions now, make sure to sort of maybe put them in a little bit later so they don't get buried. But thank you guys very much for hanging out here. After all of your acting work and craft has been planted in you, what if your best acting felt as easy and loose and effortless as if you were playing yourself? Would you feel that you were interesting enough? One. And would you trust that you were doing enough? This is really important. I'm not saying your best acting should feel like you're playing yourself, everyone. I'm saying your best acting should feel as easy and loose and effortless as if you were playing yourself and simply having a conversation. Why do we get so obsessed with having everything all ratcheted down, buttoned up, and planned out before we start acting? What is it? Is it just too scary? What are we afraid of? Why is it so hard to sort of let things go, to let it go? Why does technique want to have it all wrapped up? Technique is really important. Craft is really important, but not to wrap it all up and package it all up so you know exactly what you're doing. Okay? Why does technique want to have it all wrapped up for us? Please comment on this right now. I want to hear what what are we afraid of? Why are we obsessed with having everything all controlled and ratcheted down and all that? It leads to boring acting. It leads to safe acting. It leads to vanilla acting, not dangerous acting. JC, I do know it's hard. I have my agent. Let's see. It's hard to let go. Yeah, it's hard to let go. I'm afraid, JC says, of disappointing my manager, that I forget the particular slate. He tells me these are really good. As a character, Abby Pierce, great to see you, Abby. As a character, we want to know ourselves too soon. Oh, that's interesting. As a character, we want to know ourselves too soon. Explain that, Abby. That's really interesting. I want to know a little bit more. Maybe write a little bit more about that. Yeah, and why are we so obsessed with this? What are we afraid of? And there's something kind of, and I can't tell you how many truly brilliant performances have been walked back walked back by the agents and the managers, walked back by the actors after you've seen yourself and say, oh, that's too risky, that's too big. I always tell you, do not force yourself to watch your work. Not every actor should be watching his or her work. It can be toxic. It can also be a useful tool if you can get over how you look and look at yourself like an editor. But do not feel that to be a great actor, you have to force yourself, force feed, watch your dailies every day. You don't. Oh, JC says, I'm afraid to fail. I'm afraid to disappoint my team. Do you guys feel this way? Does anybody feel this way? Put it in the comments. Yeah. I want you to think about it like this. I want you to think about it like enjoying your time with people. How can you enjoy your time with people? As my friend and fellow coach at the studio, Alex Ashinger, writer, actor, producer, says, you want to go into this industry hoping to make a couple friends. Do you know what I'm saying? Leaving your wants and your needs at the door. So you want to enjoy your time with people. Yeah. Letting go. Shakayla James, thanks for being here. Letting go can be hard because we want to make a personal relationship with our character too soon. Oh, cool. Okay. Abby, understanding how the character would or should think, and sometimes it's challenging to create the world in which you have it. Yes, thank you. Madison Haynes, fear of misrepresenting how the character is supposed to feel. Yeah, like doing it wrong. There's this fear of doing it wrong. And I always tell you guys, rule number one of any audition type of situation is don't guess what you think they are looking for. Assume you are who they're looking for and bring yourself to the piece with a fun and brave choice. Why do we not want to guess what they're looking for? They don't know what they're looking for. It's like guessing at a needle in a haystack. Think about dating, relationships. You want someone to make a choice, to put something on the table, not try to figure out how to please you. That's not attractive. It's not confident. So stop expecting every moment in acting, this is a horrible image, I know, to feel like birthing a calf, to feel like some sort of efforting or squeezing, This is the year where we all, please, can we give each other permission to do less, to stop efforting? Okay, your success in acting in your career has nothing to do with your effort. Stop sending those postcards out. Stop doing all those efforting things that every other actor thinks that they're supposed to do because they don't have impact. I've talked about this before, the Seth Godin quote. Effort is never the point. Impact is. Okay. If you solve a problem in 3 minutes and have the guts to share it, it's art. And if you move 10,000 pounds of granite and the result doesn't connect, sorry for your calluses, but you haven't had impact. You haven't created art, from Seth Godin. So stop expecting every moment to feel like birthing a calf. And Abby Pierce, there's also that battle of instinct versus technique. Yeah. Isaac Carulo, I relate with all of you. I feel the same. Cool. I'm really glad you guys are on the same page. It's nice to, first of all, it's nice to connect with people who believe what I believe, you guys, and vice versa, to connect with people who believe similar things. So yeah, stop efforting. I want to give everyone listening to this permission to just stop trying so hard. Stop the efforting. Can anybody tell me anything great that's been produced as a result of efforting, intentionally squeezing, or working really, really hard versus working smarter and letting go and breathing and taking a little bit of a break? Yeah. A diamond. Well, how much efforting? I guess you could say a diamond, but it's over the course of how many millions of years is a diamond created? Nobody's in a rush with that creation. But you tell me. I don't know how long it takes to create a diamond. I'm thinking millions of years. Remember, everyone, your work, whatever the perceived acting technique, craft, has to be dropped before you start acting. Okay? And I want to share with you a quote from Ben Kingsley that I really love. Ben Kingsley says, when I first get a text, you guys have this question about what do I do when I first, get a piece, and I'd love to do a video on that in the coming weeks, if possible. And Ben says, Kingsley says, I don't want to impose on the text. I want to listen to it and see what it wants to be. Okay? Doing it in neutral. I'm going to give you all a really powerful exercise in a little bit. It's called reset button number 1. It instantly throws you back to yourself and you're going to love it. So hang out for it. Ben Kingsley says, I don't want to impose on a text. I want to listen to it and see what it wants to be. And if I listen to it, if I really listen to a great piece of text, he says it's like whacking a vial of something into my veins, and I will literally start to shake with the language. It will push me into shape. And I always tell actors, resist the temptation to manipulate the text into a balloon animal, before you discover it. You can't figure these kind of things out in your head. They have to be discovered. So again, you can't create a soul or a humanity to her that's more interesting and layered than your own, okay? The humanity and the soul of the character is your own. Think of it as like a garlic press. You're pressing your personality through the framework of the character as much as it will tolerate. There's no efforting in nature. One of the wonderful actors at the studio this week was talking about that. There's no efforting in nature, okay? I think about the diamond creation in the same way. There's no effort. And there's a lot of power. One of the scariest, coolest things that you guys can do in acting is this. It's to be scary real. It's to do nothing. After your training is over, it's to do nothing but to talk and to listen under the influence of your work being so real that your partner, your other partners, cast members, don't know whether you're talking and listening or acting. Being scary real. Is so thrilling, dangerous, and terrifying. So I don't know. It's sort of like, as human beings, some people are kind of buttoned up, but we just talk. We don't have a plan. I don't know that I'm hitting a beat, a couple minutes into this. Like, everything could change. So you basically, you starve out the spontaneity that exists in nature when you have everything all planned down and ratcheted down. Drop your technique before you start acting. Otherwise, the work will smell like the training. Hello, Johanna Fernandez. Good to see you. Hey, Jose, I so miss working with you, and I'm really happy to see you. Is there a way we can gauge in the moment of our acting that we are indeed enough? Thanks, Joseph. Yeah, Jose, that's such a cool question. I'm going to answer it right now. Does it feel effortful? Does it feel difficult or sticky or hard? Does it feel like you're efforting? And if it feels like you're efforting, something's off. And the other question to ask is, does it feel like me? Does it feel like me? Or does it feel like I'm playing at my idea of the character? And the big one is, if you're not having fun, it's not working. When I talk about fun, I'm talking, as you all know, activated, charged, liberated, alive, invigorated, fun. And Brando talks about it as fun in your bones. You know it when you feel it. You feel it in your bones. So, Jose, I would go back to those basics, those 4 elements of great acting. Remember, you guys, great actors, you all know the work is great because you feel it. Don't let somebody comment on your work before allowing you a breath to talk about how it feels. And great acting should feel fun. It should feel effortless. It should feel like you're having impact, and it should feel like your version of it, not like you're playing yourself. So, Jose, I'd go back to those basics of feeling. Yeah, that's a great question, and so good to see you. Thanks for being here, Jose. Can't wait to work with you again. Crystal, wonderful to see you as well, too. Christine Irizarry. Haha, cool. Crystal Gray, yeah, you're catching it live today. And so there's power in being scary real. Back in the days of NYU and the conservatory, we would try to trick our roommates and say lines, and it was, kind of fucking with them. But that's another story. We'd try to trick him and say lines and make it sound like we're actually talking. So if your partner doesn't know whether you're acting or talking, you've won. That's incredible. Stop controlling what people see. My friend Alex Ashinger, again, fellow coach at the studio, said, Stop trying to control what other people feel and see. You cannot. You cannot control what people see. Everybody's going to see something different. So let go of the perceived result. That's why what's so incredible about the live via video or Zoom classes that are going on is that we're not force-fed our replay. We're actually watching live in the moment on camera and seeing it working or not working in the moment. Stanislavski, this is a beautiful quote from Stanislavski. The person you are is 1,000 times more interesting than the best actor you could ever hope to be. I'll say it again because it's really beautiful. The person you are, just you, are 1,000 times more interesting than the greatest actor you could ever hope to be or the greatest acting choices you could ever make. It's so take a breath. And again, the topic of this talk is to know you're enough, not because I say so, but to give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to know that. And feel that as well, too. You, under the influence of fun, infinite fun is enough. That's what's going on. It's you under the influence of infinite fun. And there are two words that I think are really cool in describing what we do, everybody. And it's filled nothing. We are filled up. We are under the influence, activated on emotions that might be foreign to us. And then it makes it so we don't have to do anything. The hook, which I talked about last week. If you haven't seen the video I did last week, it's the most powerful acting tool in the world, and it's called The Hook, and it's the video from last week. The hook is the thing that makes it so you don't have to act. And again, the personality of your personality is 9/10 of the performance. It's 90%. And I said this before, but it's a terrifying prospect for actors hoping to completely disappear and hide within a role. And I think with training that's less than, with inferior training, sometimes there's a lot of effort, emphasis, and time spent escaping from the immediacy and the danger of facing ourselves in the moment. Why? Why would we want to escape from the danger and the immediacy of the present moment and facing that sort of potential danger, to sit in that sauna, that furnace, that igloo, and, actually sweat it out with another person in the now moment in real time? A common sentiment I hear from a lot of you is feeling like you're not enough or you're not interesting enough as you. So that's why we gravitate toward the safety of warm and fuzzy techniques or complicated and confusing methods that allow us to hide or create a tangled web away from ourselves and the high stakes of performing. I want to share with you a story. My friend Eugene Simon, who played Lancel Lannister on 6 seasons of Game of Thrones, he was also Jeffrey Rush's Einstein's son and genius, a wonderful actor and a wonderful person, came to me some years ago. I think Game of Thrones was before the finale of Game of Thrones. And he said that acting was so painful. It was like putting together a house of cards that at any moment it could collapse, and it wasn't fun. And it was like torturous, and it was painful. And he said for the first time after working in this different way of fun, he said the thought that my best acting could feel as effortless and easy as if I was playing myself and fun was terrifying. It was scary, but also liberating for him at the same time. And Eugene, if you're here watching this, I love you and I miss you and I can't wait to work with you again. And so naysayers may ask, well, how could you possibly bring your personality to roles where you're playing apparent monsters? Apparent monsters. Like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker or Laura Linney's brilliant performance as Wendy Bird in Ozark. And it's like, how could you possibly do that? Or when you have to play an unsavory, abusive, stupid characters and you just don't see those qualities in yourself or qualities you don't think you possess. Well, how do you do that? You might be asking. But don't we all have an inner monster, something we'd never admit in public? I think we all possess the capacity to relate to almost everything and everyone in the depths and the privacy and in the sort of depths of our soul. If we really asked ourselves that question, we just find ourselves choosing not to relate for some reason. And that's interesting. Why? Why do we choose not to relate? You know? And, you know, it's like the mumbling homeless person peeing into a garbage can seems so far removed from the rest of us civilized people. But what happens when you have to play that woman or that guy? One of the hardest parts, I think, about playing a monster or some type of low status character is admitting that this evil or derelict might exist inside of you, even if it's just a faint whiff. And the same is the opposite. Joyous, beautiful, loving, expansive character. That might be terrifying to admit that might live in you. And again, just a whiff of it. Playing characters who lack heroism can be a struggle because it means looking deeply inward to the part of you that would feel justified in cheating on your partner, murdering someone, or denigrating somebody else, okay? I've talked about this before. The question is not how to play this character, is figuring out what it means to you, finding ways of relating and identifying with it. And sometimes it takes a while, but you're going to figure out not only are you capable of it, but it was a whole heck of a lot easier than you ever thought it was, and fun. And it doesn't make you a monster. There's a catharsis to it. There's a liberation. There's kind of a healing. That's why we do this. It's a really good, you know, maybe tell me, like, why do you guys do this? You know, I've told you stories about at the studio talk about it. It's like a drug. It's the most joyous experience. It is ecstatic. It's like a high, a healthy one. And I want to share with you some really fun, cool hacks and some really like neat little tricks. And one is called Box A and Box B. In the early stages of your preparation for a character, draw 2 boxes out. Just a big empty box on a piece of paper. You can draw 2 side by side and write down all of those elements of behaviors and attitudes that are just like you. And not only just like you, the things that you can relate and identify with. And guess what? They don't have to be in the sphere of your person. They don't have to be within your personal experience. Does that make sense? We are capable of relating and identifying with a wealth of things that we haven't personally experienced. So in Box A, these are all the things that you can relate and identify with. In the other Box B, write down the behaviors and attitudes that you cannot relate to. This is one of the first things to do. And a lot of you ask me, like, what do you do when you first get this, when you first get a script? This exercise is private. It's nobody's business. So really be honest with yourselves. And the items in the first box are the things you don't have to act. You can literally clear your desk of those things because they don't require your work. In Box A are all the things that you relate and identify with. Work over, hang up the phone, okay? And it's really fun because you've just taken a whole buttload of work off of your desk. And the items in the second box are handled by simply adopting a different attitude, an out loud attitude. I mean, it can be really fun if you let yourself go down the rabbit hole without judgment. If you love children, which I do, but your character finds kids vile and offensive, your work is to vocalize and commit to an emotional body attitude to a new statement of truth. In this case, it begins by viewing children through the eyes of your character: dirty, annoying, loud, obnoxious, whiny, needy, draining, demanding. Looking at the world through this new lens can help you arrive naturally at the sentiment, at the statement, the out loud statement, not the thought. If I hear another kid cry on this plane, I'm going to scream. Great acting, sound familiar to anybody? Great acting preparation. Great preparation and craft, which we need. Craft is important. But remember, doing craft should never feel effortful like doing work. It should feel like you did an hour of craft, but it felt like 5 minutes because it was so effing fun. Does that make sense? I think you guys know this deep down. Great acting preparation is like a properly packed parachute that prevents the skydiver from falling to his or her death. Though scared for our lives, we have to bravely walk on set into an audition room or slate and dive into our piece. And all you do is pull the ripcord and let the parachute do the work, trusting that you've packed it properly. In the audition room, you guys, it translates to leaving yourself alone and letting that parachute of preparation guide you. You don't have to do anything, zero effort. Think about it like taking your hands off the wheel. You don't have to steer anymore. And again, after all of your work is finished, or many seeds have been planted, what if your best work felt as easy and effortless as if you were simply playing yourself, or as easy as yanking the ripcord? Would you trust it? Please trust it. Try trusting it. Sometimes great acting is just really trusting that you're interesting enough. And we often find like a lot of ways to escape the perceived danger of ourselves. We run to the safety of trying to do what we think others want us to do or be. Well, what do they want? But are you sure they're going to like this? But don't you think they want that? You got to just cut that connection. I helped a client to shut off the voice in his head that was shutting him down by having a sort of an imaginary remote clicker and clicking it and saying, shut the fuck up, click, and saying those words. Shut those voices up however you need to do it because they're not useful. How many times have you felt the need to act like someone else, or the idea of a character, what you think somebody wants? It's a natural part of the human experience, but it incorrectly suggests that there's nothing special about you, and you are special. Truly, truly special. Stop trying to guess what others are looking for and assume you are who they're looking for, and bring yourself to the piece. Like I said before. So again, we talk about this as progress forward by being you. Find as many opportunities as you can to show people who you are. That's why you go into an audition room, not loaded on your acting performance, but wanting to make a couple friends, showing people who you are. Being genuinely you can feel liberating, easy and loose. It can also be kind of freaky and terrifying sometimes. And the greatest goal in life or business or art should be to reflect an audience's own humanity back at them. And how do you do that? By using your own humanity. By embracing yourself, flaws and all, especially when you're around others. When you stop trying to get something from other people, okay, and allow your personality to shine through, you'll find you naturally have more success and wins in life, and find that people will more easily gravitate toward you. Stop trying to win, to be liked, to impress, land the agent or manager, and it emits a zero desperation vibe because you're not busy figuring out how to get something from people, but rather enjoying your time with them. All right, here's the gift, the trick, the hack I want to share with you guys, and it's magic, and it's like magic. It's called reset button number 1. Those of you that are hanging out to the end of this, I'm dropping certain things that are incredibly powerful tools toward the end of these talks. And it's called reset button number 1. And it's a phenomenal tool. And it's something to do at the beginning of your acting. It's something to do if you're feeling lost, if you're on set and you want to just reground yourself. Think of it as like a gyroscope spinning all over the place, and you want to get that gyroscope humming and whirring at 100 miles an hour, stillness in one place. Reset button number 1. So reset button number 1 is this. And there are many reset buttons that I use, and they're really fun. It's this. Do your piece. It's as if the director, she said to you, we wrote it for you to play yourself. I want you to forget everything you know about this piece. I want you to vacuum it out of your head. I want you to do it with a blank mind. I want you to sit with that partner that you're reading with as if you guys are just hanging out in a chat, in a cafe. Do not let go of everything you think you know about that piece. And I want you to talk and listen, play yourself, trusting that that preparation doesn't need any help. Feeling so effortless, it might be scary. And I don't want to know whether you started acting. It's just you guys are talking to each other. It's reset button number 1, and it's magic. And sometimes it's all it takes to just knock all the crap out of your head, de-bullshit you, and bring the piece to a perfect bullseye. It's also a really great way to see what the piece wants to be before any imposition is happening. It's called reset button number 1. And at the end of the reset button number 1 performance, you're going to ask yourself, did it feel like me? You're going to feel a whole lot. It's going to really feel a whole lot less effort. It's going to feel effortless. And the really important thing about reset button number one is really drop all the emotional stuff you think about the scene. You have to be willing to forget the scene in order to do reset button number one. And it's fun and easy to do, but you have to wipe your mind clear and just have a conversation with somebody and just be you. And, you know, let me know what you experience from doing that. When you come in for an audit or send an email to the studio. I want to talk about filled nothing. We've talked about it before a little bit. Filled nothing. It's this concept. Yay, reset button number one. I will be hanging with you guys in a little bit, but there's stuff I want to talk to you about that's important, and then we'll get to have a conversation. And Jakira, thank you for being here. I'm really glad that it's useful. All that matters is this is useful. Yeah. Alessandra, I'm actually mostly scared that people will judge me for making it so easy as to just be like myself, but then you're completely right. It's the best and most genuine way of acting. Well, one has to come to that realization. Do you know what I'm saying? You can't in your head, it kind of doesn't make sense. And what I am not saying is I'm not saying you're not doing anything in acting. It's filled nothing. We are under the influence of a world of emotion. We've figured out ways of relating and identifying with the character, not because we've experienced it, because we are in the now moment, finding ways of relating and identifying, and then having the bravery to let it go, to drop it, to throw it out the window. Harry Dean Stanton was one of my favorite actors. You guys may remember him as Roman, the cult leader from Big Love. One of my favorite Harry Dean roles was Paris, Texas. He was in Repo Man. He's been in everything and acted with everyone. And he was friends with Jack Nicholson. I think they were roommates for some time. And there's a beautiful documentary David Lynch did with a Swiss documentarian where he's interviewing Harry Dean Stanton. Someone might want to put it in the chat if you know the name of it. But Harry Dean said he learned one of the most valuable acting lessons from Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson wanted to cast him in a movie that Jack was, I think, producing, writing, or directing. And Jack said, Harry, and you can hear Jack Nicholson saying that. I'm not going to do a Jack impersonation. He said, Harry, I wrote this role. The name of the name of the role was One-Eyed Dick or One-Eyed Harry or something like that. He wears an eye patch, a bowler hat, a long overcoat. And Jack said to Harry, Harry, I don't want you to do any acting. I want you to let the costume do the acting. I just want you to play yourself. Just do Harry and let the costume do the acting. That's a really cool thing to think about, is letting the costume do the acting, letting the text do the heavy lifting of the acting, letting your preparation already planted in you do the heavy lifting of the acting. But you, when you're acting, are released from the responsibility of having to act. And in fact, the less you do, the more full of an experience it can be. And it was really beautiful. And Harry Dean said his advice to a new actor to be a great actor is to start by playing yourself. Start by playing yourself. And it's so beautiful. Harry did a lot of work. Jack Nicholson did a lot of work. Philip Seymour Hoffman did a lot of work, but they had the bravery to let it go once it was in them. I can't remember when this was. It's from Movie Maker magazine. It was an interview with Philip Seymour Hoffman. And the interviewer said to him, of all the roles you've played, which one is closest to you as a person? And I love Philip Seymour Hoffman. And he said, everything I play is close to me in its own way. But there were roles character-wise where I just kind of showed up to work and didn't do much of anything. Like Magnolia. It's more me than anything else. Magnolia and Love Liza, really. Those are parts, for instance, where I didn't do anything behaviorally or characteristically. I just kind of left myself alone. I want those words to share those words because of the level of actor that Philip Seymour Hoffman is and the level of actor that you guys are. It's like permission to really, truly leave yourselves alone. This is not a radical message. And the interviewer said, is it easier for you to play a part where you can more naturally relate to the character? And check out his response. He said, it's not about relating. I think I relate or partly relate to a lot of parts I play. What Philip Seymour Hoffman is saying, you guys, is that there's a lot always in his box A of things he can relate and identify with. He said, I think I relate or partly relate to a lot of the parts I play, but for some of those roles, I didn't have to do anything technically to myself. I didn't really change the way I dress or talk or move. I just kind of left myself alone for each of those roles. I want to point out that Hoffman mentions the idea of leaving himself alone twice in this short excerpt. And what a brave thing for an actor like this to admit and to share with folks. Because sometimes I think actors want us to think there's this great mystery and there's this, there's this great mystery to great acting. And actually, one of the greatest things you can do is to leave yourself alone at the end of it. Obviously, there still needs to be a tremendous amount of emotional digging and work done first, obviously. And in responsible training, your work should focus on tuning your heartbeat to the heartbeat of the character. That's what we do in the work. I have an exercise that I do to tune your heartbeat to her heartbeat, tune your heartbeat to his heartbeat, so you can live off the interest of it, to make it so you don't have to act. One's own personality and humanity must never be discarded. Your personality, your humanity must never be discarded unless you desire to strip the character of his or her soul. Okay? And it's like the ruby slippers phenomenon, Wizard of Oz. You have everything it takes to be great actors right there. Don't let anybody steal your watch and sell it back to you. This is a great Alan Watts expression. You have everything it takes, and it starts with your personality, and it's all right there. I want to hang with you guys a little bit. I want to know why we have such a need to, like, anything related to this, why we have such a need to have it all buttoned up and ratcheted down and all that. And it leads to cliche performances. And we have members of the casting community at the studio, and they talk about when actors are making these dangerous, brave performances, there's a pop. The actors that are popping are the actors that they're pulling into the callbacks, the actors that are getting booked. Yeah, and as always, you guys, remember, it's the people making those final casting decisions are the executive producers. They are the networks. They are the network executives. And we do want to pop, so we get that producer session opportunity. Thank you guys for hanging out. Let's talk. Let's share some thoughts here. Nikki, thanks for being here. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, Loki D. Wolf, random stuff. I know I'm in the way of me. I need to learn that during an audition that I need to move out of the way. I'm usually great after 2 or 3 takes, and that shouldn't be good advice. Thank you. Let's see. I want to take some questions related to this topic, because there's all sorts of career stuff I've talked about in past videos, and I will continue to talk about in future videos if you'd like. Yeah, let's see. Alessandra Righi Luperti. Yeah, I know. No, you're right. I just always thought I had to create a really interesting character no one else could come up with, but then there's nothing as interesting and genuine as yourself. But what you're doing is you're creating that interesting world inside of you, trusting that when you've been emotionally specific, that's going to plant roots. So it's still doing that work, Alessandra, but knowing when to take your hands off the wheel, knowing when to hang up that phone. Shakira Mu, playing myself and letting it go. Yeah, that's it. And letting it go. If you're hearing that I'm just saying to play yourself and do nothing for every role, you haven't heard what I said. And I know you guys have heard this. The blunt. Children are the best actors when they just play, because the image is like real. There's no question about it. Cool. Let's see. Clint Andrew, thank you for needing to hear all this as I'm currently prepping a self-tape. Fantastic, Clint. Check out my video on how to put together a guarantee a win on your next self-tape. It's on Backstage's YouTube. Good. Hi, auditing is yes, auditing classes is free, you guys. You can come audit one of our classes from anywhere in the world, from the privacy of your own home, all via Zoom. You can watch acting breakthroughs from series lead, celebrity level, all different levels of actors working on currently casting major audition material. And all you do is just go to the website, www.josephpearlman.com, Pearlman.com. And there's a link below the video as well. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter for free acting and career tips, and we'll send us an email. Email is the best way to communicate, and we'll set you up with a free audit if you haven't taken one. And you can come watch my masterclass where we have actors are getting up, having a breakthrough every time they work, and it's a lot of fun, and you're invited. Let's see. Loki, randoms. Is it a personal problem with one's own identity that gets in the way of not letting go? I don't know. That seems a little intellectual that it's a personal problem with one's own identity. I think it's fear. It's like fear of looking like an ass, or fear of being too big, or fear of looking like an asshole, or being a... I always tell the actors before the warm-up we do in the beginning, stop being afraid to look like an asshole or be a freak. You know, don't be afraid to do that. The note we get a lot, I've heard a lot from casting friends and producer friends, is you can always pull an actor back. Somebody can always pull you back, but they can never pull out a brave, bold, dangerous choice if you didn't have the courage to do it to begin with. So permission to misbehave. Let's see here. I want to keep getting to your questions. Let's see. Yeah, come schedule a free audit, you guys. It's a lot of fun, and you'll get to ask any questions you want in class in a smaller environment. Let's see. Fear. Isaac Newton, BU. Fear has two meanings. Sindora says fear of leaving one's comfort zone. Oh, that's beautiful. Face everything and rise. Oh, that's beautiful. FEAR. Face everything and rise. BU Isaac Newton, that is beautiful. Thank you very much for sharing that. I love that. Face everything and rise. Dude, that's awesome. Thank you very much. What if you were nervous or shy for an audition? Well, there's a way to beat nerves in seconds, and it's not by pretending they don't exist. It's outfunning them. It's displacing them. It's burning through the fog of those nerves by having more fun. It's literally blasting through them and making them disappear. So working in a way that's fun, not that's abusive, not where you're feeling denigrated, not where you're feeling shitty by the end of your working session. It's finding fun at every moment of the process, even in memorizing lines. I did a video some weeks back, how to memorize faster with less effort. That's something that isn't so fun for everybody, but it can be made fun. So by outfunning the nerves, and it's normal to have nerves, but you can make choices that displace them. Yeah, let's see. Alessandra, maybe the best acting is born out of impulses, but we're always afraid to give a bad performance, which means that we overly plan out stuff. Yeah, maybe. There's something that can be really scary about the present moment and not being sure. And I've shared with you many times, it's Joaquin Phoenix always talks about actually really loving that moment where he doesn't know what's going to happen. It's in embracing off balance. It's in putting yourself in a situation where you're going to be off balance. Those are the most interesting things to watch. Can be the most interesting things to watch. Yeah. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Oh, this is great. Yeah. Passion isn't enough. Well, passion without fun isn't enough. Passion and fun are just the right combination. Good. This is great. What if it was acting? How long would you have to practice acting? I can't quite understand that question. Slavic Czech on Saint, maybe be a little bit more clear. Yeah. So this is, I love the kind of vibe that we have here when we do those videos, you guys, and it's a testament to you and how awesome you guys are and how engaged you are in acting, how much you love acting. And it's a lot of fun, obviously a lot of fun for me to do these with you guys. Yeah. Yeah. Now, Fire Beast, you're asking me, please, it's important. I want to know how to audition for Marvel movies. I'm planning to give an audition in the future. This is a question that it would be really cheap to give a short answer. And I've talked about it. I would recommend watching all the videos I've done. But the answer to this question first is, are you great? Are you at your Olympic best as an actor? If you are not, you will shut more doors than you open. It's very easy to make these opportunities, to build these relationships. It's way more important. It's worthy of more of your energy and time to get yourself to being Olympic best. And then once you're at your Olympic best, it's realizing that there are no rules. You want to build relationships with the people that create this stuff, with the network execs, with the producers, with the writers, and with castings. And you want to warm these relationships up. And it takes a while to warm these relationships up sometimes, and sometimes it's short. But you want to start by getting great, okay? Because you're competing with other actors who are coming in at this Olympic level of the game. And please watch the other videos I've done, because I've spoken extensively about this. I don't want you to think I'm ignoring the questions. Sometimes they come up and out of my sight and I can't see it, but that would be my first and best recommendation. It's possible. Getting in the room is the easy part, okay? The part that's worthy of your attention and focus is how to be the best actor you can possibly be. And I know that's why you guys are here today. This is great. Yeah. Hey, Despite Wisdom says, I always hate to turn down a role. What if you have no life experiences to relate to the role you've been chosen for? Well, Despite Wisdom, that's a really good question. I think it was Meisner that said it takes 20 years to become an actor, which I don't think is a nice thing to say, because you can be an actor at any age. The 20 years is related to your life experience. But remember, whether we've actually had the experience, we are these human animals. We are capable of relating and identifying with an infinite amount of experience that we haven't had by simply using our imagination in this now moment. So don't let that be an obstacle. What you're saying is not an obstacle. Don't let it be one. Yeah. Yeah, this is great. Super fun. I can't wait to hang out with you guys in 2 weeks again. And please come and check out a free audit. Hit us up on our Instagram. You get to see all the actors at the studio, all the successes, all the things that they've been up to. It's really a fruitful, busy time out there, but it doesn't mean you should be doing more. You should be doing less, working smarter, having more fun, taking time for yourself, reclaiming that time for yourself. Love you guys. Thank you very, very much. And Backstage, thank you very much for your support with all of this work, all of these videos, and taking care of you wonderful people. All right, you guys. Yep. Fantastic. Be well. And I can't wait to hang out and hope to see you guys in class. We have a master class tonight. We have multiple classes all week. Bye.